back-to-back that led you to go here?
I mean, it was back-to-back and what they've been dealing with.
Okay.
He tweaked his ankle last night in the game, and looked like the same thing that he did in Detroit. Thankfully, it wasn't as bad. They're all kind of dealing with things that have just kind of piled up, and then the back-to-back and all the stuff we've talked about. I'm not one to, like I told you, this whole thing is just hard to kind of navigate, but they are dealing with some stuff that just kind of piled up on them.
You had said even before they had bumps and bruises before the OKC game, and obviously you sit out and you play again. But Chris, this is the first game he's been out since he found it. It's felt like a good opportunity to rest him.
Not really. I mean,
okay.
We want to win tonight.
Okay.
Chris gives you the best chance to win, so not really. We just felt like this was a good opportunity to give that thing a break. And he's just one of those guys that's, unless we tell him you got to sit, he won't sit.
Right.
So I talked to him about it last night because he's dealing with thumb and just stuff. These guys have played a lot of basketball, especially both the last few years, Olympics, finals, all of it. So he's been in the training room a lot more, just getting more and more stuff on his back, legs. So we just thought, let's give him a night to get back to somewhat solid if we can.
And maybe just opportunity for guys who obviously they play minutes, but they're going to be in a starting situation, and then maybe how much are you looking to see what they do in this type of situation where the Clippers obviously are.
I think we know who they are, but this is, again, when you sit other guys move up the pecking order, and the pressure is different, the usage, workload, all that stuff's different. And for me, like, I want to see Cam run the team and keep us balanced and solid and all of that, and then it gives Cam Johnson more opportunities to get out there and get his conditioning and rhythm. Landry in the same way, so there's a lot to be gained from tonight, but we're trying to win the game. I mean, that's always been our approach, so that doesn't change.
And then the last thing I had was Norman and Paul George. You hadn't seen them with this group, maybe that dynamic that they have now with those two.
I mean, it makes them a much better team, and they were good. What Ty has been able to do the last couple of years has been amazing. The different defenses, mixing of offensive concepts when you have certain guys out. Paul's been in, he's been out, that kind of thing. No Kawhi. And now you got Norman back in the mix. It's just a testament to his ability to coach and keep guys together. But those two guys make them a much better team, and they were already good.
Monty, Book obviously was a career player last year, but what are some of the subtle things that he's gotten to get better at this year?
I mean, that's always like a tough question for me, because I'm on record as saying he didn't have any weaknesses in his game.
Yeah.
He's probably shown a bit more humility this year. Book thinks he can climb Mount Everest, and he's just one of those guys that has an unreal belief in himself. But I think going through the finals run that we went through last year, I think he would tell you that there's a respect for the process and the details. And I've seen him, he was already a great student of the game, but I've seen that go up a level. He's completing my sentences in practice when I'm going over the minutia of what we're trying to do, and I'll hear him in the background like, complete my sentence, whereas before it was, he'd just be staring at me like, come on man, let's play. And now I think there's a understanding of as to why we do all that, and that's what we've talked about the last year.
When you say his humility, I guess.
I'm being funny. Looks really confident in himself. I mean, he did a thing with Doris Doris, you said something about being under duress, and right away he's like, no, I wasn't under duress. I watched it, because normally I have the volume down, and I saw them on, I turned it up, and it got right to that part, and when he did that to Doris, I was like, that's what I deal with every day. I mean, Book doesn't, there's nothing he feels like he can't do, and no one puts fear in his heart, and that's what I love about him. But it's also the thing that I noticed, because I was like that, and he used to give me a few spankings growing up, otherwise known as a whipping. Just depends on where you come from.
Sorry to cut you off. The Clippers are dealing with, they have the possibility of facing a couple different teams in the play-in. Obviously, if they get out of that, there's a couple of teams they can play. Their preparation's a little jumbled right now. What's it like as a 1 seed when you don't have a clear idea this close to the playoffs of?
It's not as terrible as you think. I mean, we have coaches assigned to certain teams. It'd be difficult if the teams you were facing were all under the same coach's umbrella. But that hasn't happened with us, and even if it was, we just delegate to another coach. But everybody has their teams, and we're studying all the time. I'm not one to complain about that. I think when you get to this point and you're in that position, you should be grateful. It means you're on a good team, and so it's not that much work. Our guys will have everyone prepared, and as you know, after game 1, maybe game 2, everybody knows what you're doing anyway. So we're going to prepare just like we always would. I think it's a little bit different with the Clippers situation, because you have those 3 options, but again, you have coaches assigned to those teams, so it's not that big of a deal.
Monty, just to follow up on that, because I think you're the only coach who is going to be in that top 2 seed this year and last year. What do you feel like has been different this year? Like, what did you feel like you've been able to build on after such a successful year last year?
I don't know. I could sit here and give you an answer to fill space, but I really couldn't tell you. We've gone about our business the same way as we always have. The players have improved. Players have more experience. Maybe I understand the grind a little bit more than I did. I'd never won a playoff series until last year. So for me to sit here and try to wax eloquently about what we, I can't do that, I think the players are more familiar. Maybe I am, and I just don't realize it. But we've just gone about our business the same way we always have. We've tried not to overthink it this year. I think there's a humility in our locker room and in our coaching staff about how hard it is. Maybe that has changed for me, but it's probably not a great answer. You guys don't like talking about humility and gratitude. That's sexy enough.
Coach, Adam Silver at the press conference today for the Board of Governors, one of the things he talked about was potentially altering the coaches challenge rule, and that they're going to revisit it in the offseason, where potentially if a coach wins a challenge, he can keep his challenge. Just wonder if you have any thoughts on that possibility.
I think any of my thoughts might get me fined about the coach's challenge. My thought is I'm hopeful that we can just have an ironclad list of rules that we know are there. That's all I want for me. I've been in way too many situations where a rule or a concept within the challenge will come up that I'd never heard before. And I've been pretty consistent about that. I feel like I'm on a golf course and I need the guy in the clubhouse to come out and explain to me if I can move a leaf. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's all I want, is just whatever the 5 to 10 to 15 rules are about the challenge. I just want to know what they are so that they don't pop up. And if we can keep a challenge because you're successful, great. Just let us know. But I just want to know what all of them are, and then we can be better prepared for those situations.
So you're just looking for just clearer language, basically?
Coach.
That's sign language, but you get it.
Obviously, the 3 names talked about for MVP, Nikola, Giannis, and Embiid, but like, you guys have a franchise record, 63 wins. Devin's more efficient this year. Chris Paul's kind of done his thing. Do you feel like you guys maybe haven't gotten their due because of how good of an overall team you guys have?
I mean, yeah. I don't know what else I can say. I'm I'm not quite sure if winning is valued anymore, the way that it should be. If you look at Book's numbers, how many guys with his numbers in our record weren't the MVP? Just, I've heard in Book's case, it's because he plays with Chris, and that's kind of silly because Harden won, is only one playing with Chris. So I don't understand all these arguments, and I'm not one to sit here and debate and go back and forth. That's just not my deal. I don't shut down the corn that well, but I know that winning should be valued. And our guys just haven't gotten their due, whether it's the all-star game, all-NBA. We seem to get a little bit of disrespect in that regard, so we've just tried to focus on the things we can control.
Obviously, you guys have enough motivation trying to win a title, but do you think that might add a little added, motivation to guys like Devin or Chris at all?
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it will. I hope so. Those guys they want to be the best they can be and win, so yeah, I believe that's a factor.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.